The women's sports medicine program at Mass General Brigham is really designed to meet the needs of the female athlete. And we know that this is a really evolving population in terms of not just the number of female athletes that we're seeing, but the types of sports that they're playing. We also know that women are more likely to have what we call multidisciplinary needs. So it's not just about the injury that they have, but maybe it might be tied to nutritional needs or hormonal differences.
We are still learning about how those changes alter the way a female might suffer certain injury patterns and how they may need to train a little bit differently than male counterparts.
We provide comprehensive care to our female athletes that includes orthopedic surgeons, primary care sports medicine, physical medicine and rehabilitation, endocrine, nutrition, physical therapy, sports psychology, so we can really take care of the entire athlete.
In addition, we do a lot of research in terms of advancing what we know because it is an evolving field. And I think most importantly, we also do a lot of education and outreach.
At a Division I school like Boston College, they already have a highly trained medical staff to meet the needs of the college athlete.
There's usually a primary care sports medicine physician and an orthopedic physician at home games, and then on the road as needed too. We'll see them after the game in the locker room to address any type of need. So it doesn't have to be an orthopedic need. It could have been, their mental health or some skin issue, something along those lines.
They also provide yearly physicals to all student athletes, but there is still much to learn about prevention, training, and injuries to female athletes. In 2022, basketball player Tiana Todd broke her hand at practice.
Was playing, trying to get a rebound, and broke my hand. Nothing you really expect to happen. The day I got hurt is the day I had went in to go see doctors, and within 3 days I was in surgery. They repaired the bone in my hand and they put 3 screws in it, so I got 3 screws in there forever. It took a while to get back to learn to dribble again, learn to shoot, learn to pass, learn to catch. It was hard.
Tiana returned at the end of the 2023 season and this year successfully played in all 33 games for the Eagles. Ali Van Timmeren was not as fortunate.
Oh, but that's not good. Ali Van Timmeren still down on the floor.
First possession on defense, 10 seconds into the game. One girl kind of shift, and I shifted on defense, no contact, just kind of my knee collapsed, fell out of place, and it just, I gave out. I thought my knee was out of place. I didn't realize what a torn ACL felt like, but they took me back behind the bench and they were did the test or whatever. And I was at that point my adrenaline was going so high. I was like, how do I can just walk it off? I can walk it off. And it ended up being an ACL, MCL, PCL, meniscus.
Knee injuries are by far the most common for female athletes.
Women are about 4 to 8 times more likely to tear their ACL than a male athlete. There's a lot of different reasons why we think this happens, but the main modifiable risk factor has to do with what we call neuromuscular control. So that's basically how women land or they cut or pivot, and has to do with their muscle balance during those activities.
We've done a lot of research looking at ACL injuries in our female athletes. Some of that research is looking at biomechanical aspects of how we can prevent these injuries.
The goal of preventative training actually is to address those deficits by working on strengthening the hamstring, working on strengthening the core, as well as working on the coordination of those muscles when you're landing so that those muscles can protect the ligaments in the knee. And it's been shown over and over that if you do these exercises consistently, you can reduce the rate of non-contact ACL injuries by about 75%.
Ali is still rehabbing, having missed this season.
I lift 4 times a week. I'm running 4 times a week. And then I'm working with Hana on jumping 5 times a week. And so it's just a lot of rehab. I'm in there for 3 to 4 hours a day.
Collegiate athletic trainers are fairly well-versed, not all colleges, but a college like Boston College that has highly skilled, talented athletic training staff that are academic in the way they approach things, they know the science. But at the high school level, that's really where we can make a difference.
And to make that difference, the Women's Sports Medicine program is focusing on the whole athlete.
One of the other common areas that our female athletes are at higher risk is when we talk about RED-S, which is relative energy deficiency in sport. So often our female athletes don't get enough nutrition to support the amount of activity they're doing.
Relative energy deficiency used to be called female athlete triad. The biggest symptom that happens with female athletes is the lack of or absence of a period. But overall, the picture is that if you're not consuming enough energy for how much you're burning, your overall equation is off balance.
It's really important that we recognize this in our younger athletes because we can really only build our bone bank until about the age of 25. And if our athletes aren't building their bone bank properly, they're going to be at higher risk of osteoporosis later in life.
Nutrition has long been a focus for male athletes, but now female athletes are recognizing its importance.
In athletes, it's not always about just restricting food. It's usually motivated by performance. And a lot of them don't actually know that they're not having enough food intake.
So women have much more disordered eating and have issues with body image that may also change based on a monthly cycle and based on hormones. And so the dietary needs of the female athlete at a given week or a given day might be different than a male athlete in the very same sport.
We want to take care of our female athletes from youth to high school to collegiate to professional to our master's athletes and provide them all their needs.
We do have outreach programs where we go to the schools, we hold workshops, we kind of talk about injuries and prevention. In terms of the other sort of facets of the program, in terms of sports psychology or sports nutrition, you can actually just find us online and then call to make an appointment directly without a referral in most cases.
We're educating an athlete on all of their options, and we're trying to present them with the best science and trying to present them with all of the scenarios so that they can make a good decision. And we're part of that decision.